In the fall of 2024, Vitamix released their first new lineup of full-size blenders in 8 years. The Vitamix Ascent X2 is the entry-level model in the new Ascent X line. In order of ascending price, there's also the X3, X4, and X5. In a world where many prefer refurbished versions of classic models like the Vitamix 5200, is there any point in investing in a shiny new one? And if you're considering a high-end blender, is this the one for you? Hi, I'm Justin from RTINGS.com, here to fill you in on what this new lineup has to offer. First things first, the Vitamix Ascent X2 is a very well-built blender. The motor base is mostly made of sturdy plastic and has metal gears. The jar sits on a rubber pad that you can remove for cleaning. The jar design is also familiar, with one little update. There's a rubber grip on the jar's handle to make it more comfortable to hold. Ours is missing a plug at the end though, so it slides around when you hold the jar and when the jar is processing something that makes it shake a lot. The blender also comes with a tamper holder that attaches to the side of the motor base. The holder gives you somewhere to put the tamper, but it can also be removed if you don't like the look. The jar has a 48-ounce capacity, so it's smaller compared to older models like the Vitamix A3500. You can also buy a 64-ounce jar that works with the X2 for an additional price. The lid is made of clear plastic, so you can see down the blender. The centerpiece can be removed when you want to use the tamper or add ingredients. The controls are a mix of old and new. Similar to older models like the Vitamix Explorian E310, it has switches for on and off and pulse. The dial lets you adjust the speed for manual blending and select a blending program. There are 4 programs: self-cleaning, smoothies, frozen desserts, and hot soup. The hot soup function heats up room temperature ingredients. You can also blend hot ingredients with this blender. The LED screen shows you a stopwatch when you're blending manually, so you know how long your ingredients have been processing. For this new series of blenders, Vitamix has done away with Bluetooth connectivity and app support. That might be a little annoying if you liked playing around with the bigger selection of programs in the Vitamix's app, but in our experience, the app was sometimes inconvenient, so maybe it's not a total loss. Now, on to what's most important. How does it blend? There aren't any big surprises here. It performs very well for most recipes, and it's a fantastic option for multi-purpose use. Fibrous ingredients, like fruits and vegetables, can be difficult for a blender to smoothly process. A lot of full-size blenders do a good job with bigger batches, but struggle to blend smaller amounts properly. That's not a problem here though. The Vitamix Ascent X2 can blend a very smooth single-serve smoothie. The smoothie preset isn't quite enough for the best result, but if you run it for another 15 seconds or so on high, it makes a perfectly smooth blend. That said, it doesn't perform quite as well at full capacity. Again, the smoothie cycle doesn't quite get the job done. It makes a slightly less smooth blend, and you can see a few unprocessed bits left over, but it's still a superb result. In both cases, some ingredients can splash up the sides of the jar and get stuck near the lid. The tamper can't reach there, so for the smoothest results, you need to remove the lid and scrape the jar once during the process. The 48-ounce jar is on the small size to use with a full-size blender, and works best with smaller batches of around 6 ice cubes. That's not the best if you want a blender for big batches of frozen drinks, but otherwise, this blender is easy to use to make snow like crushed ice. This blender is particularly good for making thicker recipes like nut butter, hummus, pesto, or even smoothie bowls. It's among the best blenders we've tested for this purpose and makes nut butter very quickly. Seriously, I did the testing on this one and it was a breeze. All you need to do is use the tamper, no stopping and stirring required. This blender has a powerful motor and a range of blending speeds. The Ascent X2, along with the rest of the Ascent X lineup, has a slightly weaker motor. It also has a slightly slower maximum blending speed than older Vitamix models. This can help explain why it blends some recipes slower, but it's still a powerful blender and has a wide range of speeds. The noise level is middle of the road. It's not extremely loud, But if noise level is a priority, there are quieter options that still perform similarly. It's quite easy to clean by hand. You need a brush with a handle to properly clean the sharp blades, but it's not too difficult. Then again, if you have to clean the tamper holder, it's an annoying process. It isn't easy to reach every nook and cranny with a sponge, so it's the kind of thing that might need to soak before you can clean it properly. The Vitamix Ascent X2 is the cheapest and simplest model in the Ascent X lineup. Don't expect much difference in performance if you spend more. All 4 X series blenders perform basically the same. The higher end models, the X4 and X5, have stainless steel shells. They have a more premium feel than the X2 and the X3's plastic bodies. The more expensive models are also quieter. Otherwise, differences come down to details. The X3 has buttons instead of switches, and an LED screen that displays more information. The X4 and X5 have a frozen cocktails program that makes ice crushing a little easier. Finally, the X5 is also a little easier to use for nut butter since it has a nut butter program and a feature that tells you when to use the tamper. The X4 and X5 have a plus 15 seconds button, so you can easily add a bit of blending time. The Vitamix Ascent X2 doesn't offer anything new in terms of performance compared with other Vitamix blenders. The Vitamix A3500 still has an edge when it comes to processing fibrous ingredients and ice. It also has a programmable timer, a feature missing from all the X series blenders. You might prefer the X2 smaller jar for recipes like nut butter, or if you usually work with a small batch. There are other models that come with 48-ounce jars, such as the Explorian E310. That model performs similarly and is much cheaper. Then again, for more money, the Ascent X2 offers a more premium experience. It's quieter, its jar is dishwasher safe, and it has blending programs. The Vitamix Ascent X2 might be the cheapest option in Vitamix's new lineup, but it's still expensive. Is it worth it? It's worth considering a Vitamix if you want maximum versatility and a high quality build. The Vitamix Ascent X2 in particular is a good option if you like the design of older legacy Vitamix models, but want something quieter with more features like blending programs. It's worth considering if you want the 48-ounce jar or if you want a slightly more compact blender to make recipes like nut butter, hummus, or pesto. One downside is that it doesn't come with any extra jars included. Vitamix currently sells personal jars for its older legacy blenders, but not the Ascent model, probably because there was a lot of recalls involving the personal jar. They probably wanted to avoid all that mess again. If you want a personal jar so you can blend a smoothie and take it out the door, try the Breville The Super Cube BBL 920. It's a fantastic option for multi-purpose use. It offers nearly the same performance and comes with a 24-ounce jar, which doubles as a travel cup. Its main pitcher's capacity is also bigger at 68 ounces. Then again, depending on what you want to make in your blender, it might not be worth paying for the versatility that the X2 offers. If you mainly make smoothies, you can get something that makes equally well-blended smoothies for way less. The Breville The Fresh and the Furious is much cheaper. It can't blend hot ingredients, but it makes an equally smooth blend with ingredients like kale. It just takes a little longer. So that's it for a review of the Vitamix Ascent X2. If you're curious about the rest of the new X series lineup, be sure to check out our reviews of the X3, the X4, and the X5 on our website. Until next time, I'm Justin from ratings.com, where we help you find the best products for your needs.
Okay, now one more time without the struggle. We should make a video of all of our mishaps, B-roll mishaps.
Yeah.